Well, I was born in southeastern Poland in 1930, and I was a son of a small farmer. Childhood was good until the war started.
And how old were you then?
I was then 9 years old when the war started.
And how did that affect your family?
In every possible way. That part of the country was overrun by Russia and did impose some real stringent rules and started severe and consistent indoctrination to convert everybody to communists. Later, Hitler declared war against Russia. Then we got overrun by Germans. And Germans had a different philosophy. They didn't seem to indoctrinate anybody. They shot anything that moved.
Wow.
And then Germany evidently had a change of policy where they needed civilian workers to free up the German people for the war effort. So they started picking up able-bodied people to ship to Germany to labor camps.
But you were only 10.
I know, but I was a tall, skinny kid, and in the judgment of a guy who picked me up, I was able to work.
So you went to a labor camp when you were 10 years old? Wow.
One day, several trucks of Gestapo drove into that area and started going house to house. And that's where we got all arrested, shanghaied and taken to the railroad stations, put in boxcars, and they were ready for shipment to Germany. It took them 30 days from Poland by train to Germany. The reason for that was, of course, is that whenever a train going east, they would pull our train off the main track and shove us into a siding somewhere, because anything going east was military and had a priority over everything else.
30 days is a long time.
Very long time for a short distance like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, once we got to Germany, they put us in the barracks that I was told were built to house Russian prisoners of war, Russian soldiers. But the building was so poorly constructed, it was ice cold, there was no heat in it, and only cold water on one end of the building. I remember I slept in a corner of one room, and the outside walls were so badly jointed that when it snowed, the wind blew snow inside. When the war ended, American Army put us in what they used to call displaced persons camps, and a German community fed us, and we were mostly waiting for immigration. Some people went back to their own country, and others, for political reasons, didn't, so they just lived there waiting. And my folks didn't want to go back to Poland because Poland was then obviously under communist control, and they've already had the taste of communism. And so we waited out, and then my mother found her sisters in the United States that came here back in the early 1900s. They started communicating, and after a while, she also contacted her aunt who lived in Seattle. And immigration to the United States was easy, but you had to have a sponsor. So my mother's aunt was our sponsor. She wrote a letter to us saying that I can accommodate you with housing and a job because I grow raspberries, but I'm getting too old to take care of it. So you could have that for a job. Well, we took that to the American consulate, and he read it. He says, yeah, we'll let you go to America. Well, just like that.
Must have been a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Like I said, it took me 87 years to accumulate my story. So
Excellent.
It's a long story.
These were wonderful stories, Frank, and we really, really thank you for telling them.